Welcome to Big Homeopathy. I'm your host, Sarah Thompson. Hi, welcome to Big Homeopathy. I'm your host, Big Homeopath, Sarah Thompson. Macoons are my favorite apple. Macoons if you're Scottish enough to know, and Macowns if you're not. They are tarter and crisper than a Macintosh, sweeter than a Cortland, more depth than a Honeycrisp, and you can only get them if you're lucky enough to live near an orchard that grows them. They are like an August tomato, here and then in abundance and bounty and then gone. And their gift is this mandate to be in the moment, to savor it, experience it, and gorge yourself on it, and then let it go. There are places in my heart that I won't return to in my body because the memory of the past is so bright. And the pain of the present, paling in comparison, is too intense. Everything has a season, and I try to keep everything in its season. On the kind of late August day that makes you wonder why everyone doesn't live in Maine, which is something you need to hold on to on the kind of January day when you can't understand why anyone does, I checked myself into the ER at Mercy Hospital, and I spent all of that fall in and out of the hospital in cancer treatment, often on a neutropenic diet that forbade fresh fruits and vegetables. And I remember sitting in my hospital bed looking at that late October light and pining for macoons. Every fresh orchard apple for me is a sacrament of gratitude. I've wanted to write a post about macoons for probably 8 years now. But when I was diagnosed with cancer, or at least when I was in the hospital, I think there was a maelstrom of emotions after my initial diagnosis, I made the decision not to be defined by cancer. I never wanted to be a survivor. And I tried to tell my story for a long time without referring to it if I could, or by mumbling it awkwardly into my shirt pocket. I didn't want pity, and I'm not a victim. And I also didn't want the celebrity status of having endured an ordeal. I also knew that I'd received an incredible gift, and I didn't know how to carry the mantle of such a prize. I didn't feel worthy, and I was dogged by this feeling that I had chosen the easy way out to go through conventional treatment. Yes, it's horribly destructive and disruptive and painful and unpleasant, but there's a kind of status that comes with cancer treatment. The cancer industry is just that. It's a massive network of franchises that promises cure but actually delivers incredible pain and misery, and it ensnares people in the suffering into this allegiance and identity of promoting it in the guise of survivorship. And I don't think it's evil or malevolent. I understand why people choose it. Hell, I chose it. And sometimes it even works. But there's also a fraternity to it that does become an identity, and I didn't want that. If I had chosen to try to manage my cancer holistically, which I wanted to do, but I got too scared. But if I had been juicing 10 times a day and spending thousands of dollars on produce and going on retreats and working on the spiritual side of what was really wrong, would I have received the same level of support and outpouring, the GoFundMes, the fundraisers, the charity offerings, the meal trains? When Steve Jobs tried to look at his cancer diagnosis in a different way. A man who'd made his whole life and career out of looking at problems a different way, and then died. He got patronizingly accused of magical thinking for trying something different. Whereas when someone succumbs to the disease process and the destructive nature of the treatment, as many in my life have, they're considered a brave soul who did all they could. But everyone who faces their mortality in the darkness and the wastes is brave. And after all that, I'm the one who got the prize. I'm alive, more alive than I've ever been. And I have the gift of that incredible clarity that the darkness and despairing depths can bring. My diagnosis was an invitation to a vision quest. That's a rite of passage, not a hero's medal to be donned. And I have this fear that I'm winning on a technicality to claim it, that I'm a poser. Can I do this work without handing over my identity to survivorship? Can I wrestle with my own insecurities and fears about what it means to tell people that you've had cancer? I'm guided and protected. That's the mantra that I keep repeating to myself, because this is coming through me. This is choosing me. This is about more than me. And it's a time for me to be brave. But it's scary, and it's bringing up things I never expected. When the dragon's egg cracks open inside of you, it hurts. And the metamorphosis is never complete. Each new emergence is a chrysalis of the next birth. And labor precedes birth. If the hard thing is the right thing, then it's the thing that I must do. So that's big homeopathy this week, and it feels really huge. And I want to ask you, as I did last week, to take a moment to click through the link in the description if you would like to have a free Transforming Cancer session, if you would like to share a free Transforming Cancer session with someone else. Hope is the thing that I was afraid to have, but it's possible. See you next week.